Hello fellow farmers, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be the first introduction video to DeFi. We are starting from a very beginner level, and then once everyone is already familiar with different blockchains, networks, centralized finance, decentralized finances, and how do they work and how everything works, at least the base of it, then we're gonna move on to something more advanced. And then with each video, the level is gonna increase more and more until everyone is familiar with yield farming, staking, and permanent loss, and everything that revolves around cryptocurrency. So anyways, if you start watching this video and you think you already know everything that is being said right here, you can just wait for the next video to come, which will probably be on a higher level than today's video, because as I said, this is an introduction to DeFi and to cryptocurrency as a whole. Like if you've never heard about DeFi, if you've never heard about blockchain and blockchain networks, this video is going to explain everything in a very simple way so you can also understand. So let's get right into it. So right here we have a map of a city. So it doesn't matter what city it is, just this is something in the physical world, which is where you and I are, at least I expect so. But now the crypto world is a digital world, is non-tangible, which is different from a non-fungible. Is non-tangible, which means you cannot touch a cryptocurrency, only if you buy those fake bitcoins, but this is not what I'm talking about. You cannot touch anything that is digital, that does not exist in our real world. So I'm gonna start using an example. How do we compare the real world to the digital world? Well, let's do an analogy. So for example, we have the real world and we have our digital world. And this digital world, whatever you want to call it, we are gonna see it today for this video as a subway system. So imagine a city and you need to get to the subway system. So let's check out this subway system. See, in the real world, let me move the camera. So in the real world, we have a subway system. Like in every major system, there is a subway or a underground, whatever you want to call it. If you're from Europe or if you're from the USA, underground, metro, or subway, doesn't matter. Every major city has one or many subway systems, subway networks. So let's imagine our cryptocurrency world, this digital world, is like a subway system. So we have many routes that brings you from point A to point B everywhere across the map. So what would that be? Like what would that be in the cryptocurrency world? So each subway line, so each line or each color, as you see right here in the subway system that I'm showing you, so each line is comparable to a blockchain network. So what is a blockchain network? So everyone that does not know about it, when you hear someone talk about blockchain, you immediately think about Bitcoin. But blockchain is not only about cryptocurrency. Blockchain is a technology where cryptocurrency is built on. Blockchain is nothing more than a technology that allows multiple computers to have a shared database. It doesn't matter what it is about. It means there are a variable amount of computers, of machines that store the same data across every machine in the blockchain. So in simple terms, it's a safe way to store information across a multitude of computers, of machines. So what does it mean? It means that whatever is in the blockchain is available to everyone that is in that blockchain. And why is crypto built on this sort of system? Well, because if someone tries to mess with a blockchain, rewrite something, add some tokens to create some tokens, like create some bitcoins, they cannot do that because they would have to write that information or write that transaction on every computer present on the network. Why? Because the information is literally the same one for every other machine for every other machine present in the system. So there's not a possibility of someone messing with the system. And that's why cryptocurrency was built on blockchain. But it doesn't mean that blockchain applies only to cryptocurrency. For example, many banks are already using blockchain technology. Why? Because it's a better and safer way to store data. So it's harder for hackers to hack or compromise some data when this data is spread across multiple devices. Of course, I'm making it sound very simple, but blockchain is way more complicated than that. So there's not only one blockchain. In the crypto world, there are many blockchains. And with this subway analogy that we are doing, that I'm using, think about every color you see right there as a different blockchain. And you can see sometimes these networks, they touch each other. You can go from the green one to the red one, or from the orange to the green one, and so on and so forth. You can see they overlap sometimes. And I'm gonna tell you more about it later. But now you can think of it as multiple blockchains that are somewhat interconnected one with the other. So let's see what are these major, I'm not going to talk about all blockchains, but let's see what are these major blockchains. So as you can see, I've labeled some of them so you can kind of start to understand the networks and how does that work. So for example, we have Solana, we have Matic, we have BSC, which is Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, Ethereum, Aave right here, which is hidden behind my camera, Solana, and there are many more. There's not just only one or two. There are an abundance of networks, and each one, and way more networks are coming out right now because of this technology, the blockchain technology, which is an amazing technology. So people are creating these blockchains. Of course, there are blockchains that do not have anything to do with cryptocurrency, as I said, but we are a crypto channel, so I'm going to talk about blockchain in the cryptocurrency world. And in each and every line of the subway, for example, the orange one, which I put here as the Binance Smart Chain, inside this line there is a bunch of tokens going from one point to another point. And what coins are inside this line? Well, think of it as the subway train, and inside this train, the subway, there is all these tokens that are traveling from point A to point B and whatever is in between, like these stations, right? So in our case, that would be like this image we see right here, the BNB subway. And if you take a look, well, on top of there, I made a mistake. It should say BSC subway, which is the Binance Smart Chain, but I wrote BNB. BNB is the native token of the Binance Smart Chain. But if we take a look at this picture, we see other coins that are not only BNB, which is the Binance Smart Chain token. And why is that? Shouldn't it be the BSC subway? Well, here's the thing, there are coins and there are tokens. What is the difference between a coin and a token? Well, explain very simple. A coin is that cryptocurrency that has its own blockchain. For example, BNB has its own blockchain and is the Binance Smart Chain. So for that reason, BNB is a coin. But inside the Binance Smart Chain, there are many other cryptocurrencies that are using and are created using the Binance Smart Chain blockchain. Inside this blockchain, which is called Binance Smart Chain, there's the native coin, there's the native cryptocurrency, which is the BNB, and there's also other cryptocurrencies that are created using the same technology. So they don't have their own blockchain, but they're using an already existing platform, an already existing blockchain. For example, we have right here Cake, which is the cute pancake rabbit looking thing, and we have Banana. But we also have some coins that already have their own blockchain. Even though they have already their own blockchain, they are free to go in other subways, so they're free to go to other blockchains. For example, we have Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin has its own blockchain, and we also have Tether, which is a stable coin. So you can see inside a blockchain, you can find a lot of different coins and tokens. So coins that already have their own blockchain and tokens that are built using already existing blockchains. So, okay, we have our real world and we have our digital world, which is the subway. But how do we get to the subway? How do we get inside the subway? Me as a physical person. But how do we get into the subway? How do we get down there or up there if you want to see the digital world as like some sort of Mega Man digital space which is above us? It doesn't matter. How do we get to that? It doesn't matter to what blockchain. It doesn't matter to what network. How do we get in there? Well, for the subway example, what connects the subway to the real world or to the outside? Well, those are the stations, like the entrances you see everywhere where there's a subway. There's an entrance to the road, there's a road access to it where people can just go down the stairs and they are gonna find themselves inside a subway station. Well, what would be a subway station in our analogy? Well, those would be centralized platforms. So what are centralized platforms? Those are platforms where you can buy, where you can trade your physical money, like the dollar, like the euro, the pound, or whatever other currency you have, your native currency, and you can trade for a cryptocurrency. So you can change your dollar for Bitcoin, you can change your dollar for Ethereum, and so on and so forth. So those are centralized platforms. And let's see an example of centralized platforms. And these access points or centralized platforms are, for example, Kraken, Coinbase, and Binance. Of course, there are way more and there's a million of them out there, but I'm just trying to make you understand with a few examples. So these are connections from our world and our currency to a digital currency. And why are they called centralized? Well, they're called centralized because they have because they are entangled with the physical world. What does it mean? Well, they have owners, they have physical location, they have to pay taxes to certain government. So in a way, they are depending on the real world. So they pay taxes to a certain country, so they have a head office based in some place in the world, and they have to pay taxes according to where they're located, and they have to respond to government laws. So if a country does not allow some sort of trading, some sort of token, some sort of coin, they cannot force that into their platforms in that specific country. For example, China, you cannot any longer buy or have access to any of these. In China, you cannot access any of these kind of entry points, physical entry points like Coinbase or Kraken, because now trading cryptocurrency in China is illegal. So these are like access points to the digital world, the cryptocurrency world. So once you set up your account on any of these platforms and you send there you have your bank information already logged in, it's everything and so on and so forth, and you send your real money over there, you can then exchange it to cryptocurrency. Well, this is just the entry point of our journey, because of course you can always stay inside these stations and just buy and sell there, and everything should be fine if you're that kind of person that you're just gonna stay inside the station. But you can also go around inside each and every line, each and every blockchain. And what is this? These are called decentralized platforms, and they are platforms created but not controlled by anyone in specific. So of course there are founders, there are creators, developers, and so on and so forth, but they cannot change the code once it's written in the blockchain, and they have no attachments to the real world. So if people in China can log into these DeFi platforms, they can still buy and sell cryptocurrency, because these decentralized platforms, they do not have to follow any law or any prohibition for a country. They go beyond they go beyond borders of countries. And these decentralized platforms, they can vary. They can do a bunch of stuff. They can be banks where you can borrow money. They can be vaults where you can put your money there to rest, and it's gonna earn, and it's gonna give you passive income because you left your money over there and they're taking care of it for you, and you're getting a return, a yield, because you're leaving your money over there. You can also use it as some sort of exchange for you give something, or you give a cryptocurrency and you get back another cryptocurrency. You can use it as an exchange. And we have a fourth kind of platform. As you can see right there, there are points where the subway lines connect. And of course, I marked those as the entry points, the centralized platforms. But if we go back right there, where, for example, the orange crosses the red, or the green crosses the orange, or the blue crosses the red, these points are called bridges. There are platforms that allow you to take your crypto from the green line, for example, and put it into the blue line, for example. And bridges are going to be very, very useful once you get to know the different platforms in each and every blockchain. So right here we have an entry point to a subway station, and we see right here the subway station, for example, is the yellow line, which we saw it was the BSC, Binance Smart Chain, and these entry points would be the centralized platforms like Binance Smart, like Binance or Kraken or any other. Here we have Aave. If you don't know, Aave is probably one of the biggest decentralized platforms we have as of today. And what is Aave? So Aave is a very peculiar platform. Why? Because you can use it as a bank, as a digital bank, as I was telling you before, but you can also use as a place where you can deposit your money and get interest on that money, on that crypto you left there. And Aave, as I said, is one of the biggest. And the good thing about it is because it's so big, of course there are many, but I'm using Aave because it's very user friendly if you want to start taking a look at Aave. The good thing about it is that it's cross-chain. So it not only touches one line or one subway line, for the example, but it touches multiple lines. So again, Aave is like a bank, but you can also use it in a bunch of different ways. But the majority of the time when you hear someone talking about Aave, they're probably staking their money there because they want to borrow against it and leave the money there to grow and take their money to invest. And I'm showing you here that Aave is already number 2, and it says here that it's present in the Polygon and the Ethereum network, but I'm pretty sure it's present already in 2 more. And of course we have the biggest one today, which is Curve. Curve is a little bit odd looking if it's the first time that you're taking a look at DeFi platforms. Once you take a look at Curve, you kind of get scared a little bit because everything looks a little bit janky and weird. But Curve today is a very, very big platform present across many chains, so many lines. It interconnects many lines. So now you know and you understand that beginners are, of course, only going to stay in the subway stations, as I've mentioned before. So beginners will only enter and stay inside the subway station. And sometimes that's okay. You probably know someone that only has Bitcoin in their Binance and they just buy and hold, and that is totally fine. It's okay. It's not a problem if someone does that. But what this video is about is everything that people do not explore that we are going to start exploring, which is the diversity of that blockchain, the diversity of these networks and these blockchains that we can explore and we can profit from. So now you should have a pretty basic understanding of networks, centralized platforms, decentralized platforms, and how they work, or what is their purpose. So this is going to be it for today's video, which is going to be the very very introduction to DeFi and cryptocurrency. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. For many of you, it's going to be very basic, but I hope this video reaches someone who's trying to get into find a cryptocurrency and who's trying to get into decentralized platforms and how to make money out of it and how to profit out of it. Not in a scammy way, but in a very, very creative way, which is through this amazing technology that is brand new and it's probably gonna revolutionize everything we know in investing, from investing all the way to whatever other point of our life, because I think blockchain is a very, very great technology and we're just scratching the surface of it. But anyways, if you know someone that is trying to get into DeFi, is trying to get into yield farming, staking, but they're kind of scared or they don't understand, please share this video, and again, like and subscribe the video. And I'm gonna create a playlist for this introduction to DeFi, and it's gonna be down on every video from now on in the description. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.